Hey everybody, my name is Geronimo Silvas. I am the student ambassador for CW, and today we're going to be talking about budgeting 101. So for the video of budgeting 101, it's going to be broken down into two categories. We're going to have wants and we're going to have needs. And I'm not going to have basically a hard list of what a want and a need would be, but I'm going to try to have a conversation with you guys about what it is. Okay, so first on the list for a need, it's going to be college expenses. And we all know that college expenses is going to be tuition and accessories. So we're looking at books, we're looking at lab fees, gym fees, circ fees. It's a list. It's a lot of things, and we have to pay it off every quarter. So we're going to have to figure out a way to make that money or to obtain that money. And there's scholarships, there's work study, there's grants, there's loans, you saving up from the past years and slapping it into the expenses. But there's so many ways to obtain that money. But it's a major chunk of our life because we have to figure out how to get that money and be able to pay that tuition off and all those accessories. Because if we're not able to do that, what's gonna happen next? You're gonna have to, head on out and get a job. Most likely it will be minimum wage, or you try to go through another area. Trying to learn to be an electrician or a lineman, stuff like that. But majority of the time is a minimum wage job, and you basically start at the bottom of the barrel, but more bottom at the barrel. So yeah, it's complicated. It's a huge chunk of our life, but we need to figure out a way to pay it off and continue to strive and get those good grades so we can make it worth it. Okay, second on the list for my needs, in my opinion, would be transportation. So what do you have? Do you have a car? Do you take the bus? Do you like to walk? Do you like to take the bike? So many situations out there, options basically. But honestly, in my opinion, the best situation would be on your feet, because you don't have to worry about car maintenance. So like doing an oil change, changing out the air filter, paying for gas, all that good stuff. And of course, for taking the bus, you don't have to worry about missing the bus. You don't have to worry about the bus being late due to traffic or weather problems. And so, yeah, you would be walking to school. You just have to worry about getting there on time and rushing it or not rushing it. And at the same time, when you're walking, you'll be able to gain some cardiovascular endurance. So you can gain some, when you hit the gym, you won't get so tired. And you have a little bit of a stepping stone. But yeah, that's that for transportation. I currently have a car, and I will say it's a big expense. Besides me being interested in cars and modifying it to my suit, it is a bit expensive. Like recently, I did change the spark plugs and I did an oil change, and that was roughly around like $75. It was a good chunk, And if you think about it, $75 is like a day of work, and you only work. If you do work full time, you only work like 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. So that's already one day directed towards me trying to get that or continue to get that car running. So yeah, that's transportation in a nutshell. Oh, and also, I don't want to forget about the bike either. You have to buy the bike. What happens if you get a flat tire? What if it jams? What if you get it jacked? Or there's so many situations that can happen. But yeah, basically in a nutshell. Let's keep going. Okay, so third on my list is rent and living expenses. So for rent, honestly, what I went the cheapest route, and that's what I'd recommend on you, because at the end of the day, it's basically just a place where you eat and sleep. And quite frankly, I was never home. I was always, at the library. I was always on campus, and it was just a place I slept and ate. So, with this implied, I actually spent like $350 a month on an apartment, and this most recent year, I actually lived on a farm where I worked for my rent. So I did farm stuff like fence repair and horse handling. But what you got to do is find the best situation that's suited for you, and not necessarily for comfortability, but for durability. So it lasting that long, so you don't have to worry about within a couple months paying for rent. Like let's say you have enough saved up for like 6 months, but school's for 9 months, so you got to figure out a way to get that other 3 months. If if it was more expensive or if it was less expensive. Like if it was less expensive, then you can last longer with that money saved up. So instead of staying at a place for 6 months, you could have stayed at a place for 9 months. So yeah, that's basically a situation that would be that. Okay, so food's a major part, because you know that's what keeps us going. You know, that's what doesn't make your stomach growl. But honestly, in my opinion, I would say don't go with the brand stuff. The knockoff is the exact same in my opinion, and you get more bang for your buck, to be honest. My diet was basically whole foods. I rarely went out and ate because I really didn't like the food that was out, and I felt more comfortable making my own food. So, you know, before I came back home, due to the COVID situation, I would have a smoothie every morning. Consisted of protein powder, creatine, frozen berry blend, a banana, spinach, 2 eggs, and milk. And for lunch, I had either white rice and beans, tortillas, of course, because I love tortillas, and a couple of eggs or meat, like chicken or deer meat from when I went hunting the past year. And dinner, honestly, would be the same, but with a bigger portion. And honestly, I only spent like $35, like $50 a week on food. Because of course I bought in bulk. So like if I bought like only a pound of rice, then you know how long it's gonna last you compared to a bag of like 10 pounds. So I would always buy in bulk. Okay, but I want to look at this situation as in if you went out and ate and you bought a meal. Okay, so nowadays a meal is like $15 roughly. And if you think about it, that's already like a third of $35 to $50 a week on Whole Foods. So honestly, you know which route would be recommended and which route would be more optimal for the situation of you know, maintaining as much money as possible and directing it towards where it needs to go compared to where you want it to go. Okay, so clothing. Can't forget about clothing. You can't walk around naked. So a majority of my wardrobe basically has been maintained and taken care of to last me around 3 to 4 years. And it's pretty nice to have all this clothing that lasts me for that long, because I don't have to worry about buying new clothing. And you know, of course, here and there I do get new clothing, but it's rare because like I said, I do take care of my wardrobe, and I always put in work on the detergent and fabric softener. So you know, I always get those stuff. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, if I was to give a little bit of piece of advice on like exterior area, or how do you say this, exterior things that affect you, is like someone saying oh, you still wearing that, or like, girl, that's so out of fashion. You know, basically say thank you and just change the conversation. You know, you'd be surprised of how you feel afterwards, instead of saying, I really do need new clothes, let's go shopping, even though you don't need to. Like it's a weird feeling. You have to do it for yourself so you can see how it feels. But yeah, that would be that. So for rent and living expenses, rent, food, and clothing. So let's continue on to the wants. Okay, so first on the list for wants is luxury. So spending money on an activity that you know you don't need, but still do because you want it. Such as, you know, like illegal activities at our age, like drinking or other stuff. And, you know, people say it's for de-stressing. And yeah, you could look at it that way, but like I just took an exam, let's go do that thing. But do you really need that thing? Do you really feel like you need that thing to de-stress? Are there other things that you can do that'll benefit you, not only on money wise, but you know, mental wise, and for longevity wise? So another thing I would say for luxury is think before you spend. So make sure you need the thing, and make sure that it'll benefit you. For example, buying the new game console because it'll help you de-stress from taking that exam. But instead, why don't you continue to grind and not let that exam make you think you need a break, but what you need is actually more. And what I mean by more is that you need more improvement, you need more knowledge, you need more discipline, and so much more. So then why don't you keep going? Don't feel sorry for yourself. And in reality, to be honest, just brush it off and keep going. And it matters when you spend hours on end playing a console because it was essentially wasted, being brutally honest. And one thing I definitely know is that we don't get our time back. It just continues to click. Anyways, and it doesn't stop. We just keep getting older, and what we do at this moment will benefit us in the future or not benefit us in the future. So, you know, that time and money you invested could have been invested on ways to improve yourself. And don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on video games. I play them here and there with my buddies. But too much of a good thing is a bad thing. Okay, so second and last on the list for wants is things that are perceived as a need but are actually a want. So do not be deceived by these things. Think of how it would affect you in the future and decide whether it is necessary. I cannot stress this enough. Do everything with a purpose. Make sure it is something you need and not what you want. I'm only 20 years old and I reflect on so many things I regret on doing. And I don't dwell on these things, of course, but I definitely use them to my benefit and I figure out a way of how I can improve from these past experiences. So view life from outside the box and figure out how to get the most from it, time and money-wise. Okay, so thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate each and one of you for watching the video. Hopefully you gained some knowledge on this, on needs and wants and budgeting in life. And hopefully we can continue to take life on and you know, make the best out of it. And a little side note, for the students that are at CW, that are freshmen and part of the Gear program, make sure to send me a text, just contact me so I can write it on my notes that you watched the video and it can be turned into an entry for the end of the year drawing. So, you know, have a great one, have a good day, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Thank you.